Because ain't nobody say that, right? Because I said that stuff about his wife. He talking about me riding in a Hellcat. You know your wife, she'll love to be a passenger. Oh, man. I be riding in that Hellcat, touching on that cat. Hey, you know what? Watching live now. That was your wife. You said my wife would pass around. She put that pickle in her mouth. Cornelius, she put my pickle in her mouth. She went some of the
Listen what Kunal says.
Oh man. But listen, I'm not going there.
Nigga should have rebuked that nigga.
I feel you.
Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. I'd like to say peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. And today, I pretty much want to do a lesson on the featured clip you've seen in the beginning. The brothers of Great Millstone, have done a video on this. But I just want to use this, to bring out a lesson. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. And I'm going to entitle this lesson, thou shalt not covet another man's wife. I'm going to bring out the book of Exodus chapter 14. Slakia, the book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And basically, he committed adultery, by, imagining a vague thing, in his mind, regardless if he, I'm sure he didn't, but, either way, you weren't supposed to be thinking about another man's wife, especially if you have your own wife, that's committing adultery. I'm going to bring out verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So if your neighbor has his own wife, you can't covet, you know what I'm saying, his wife, because that's his possession. It's his, And you basically can't, do that because, it's a wicked thing. Then, just for the sake of edification, it's like, I'm gonna look up that word, covet. Yearn to possess or have something, and that's pretty much what that guy is doing, He's yearning to possess this man's wife, and that's a wicked thing. And I'm gonna bring out the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 7. And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. And Lot was a just man. And when he was in Sodom and Gomorrah, he was vexed by the filthy conversation, of the people that dwelt there. And pretty much what this man spewed out of his mouth, that was a filthy conversation. Talking about what you're gonna do to another man's wife, that's not okay. It's not. That's an example of how not to be, in this truth, in this knowledge. You can't covet after another man's possessions, It's not okay. If you have your own possessions, you have to be happy with what you have and not, be jealous of what another man has. I'm gonna bring out out the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. And, he didn't speak life pretty much, You're speaking death, because that's pretty much what adultery, that's the consequence of committing adultery, being put to death. And ultimately, the entire nation of Israel, in some way, form, or fashion, mainly spiritually, but physically, we have committed adultery, But even though we're under grace, that still doesn't give us, the right to willingly go out and commit the sin. This is one thing the Most High hates. He hates that act. I'm going to bring out the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 3. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles, And basically, we have to be careful about what we say, because we're going to have to give an account of, the idle words that we speak. So, we have to be mindful of the things that we say. And, that wasn't a righteous thing to say. It wasn't. Again, just like the brother said, he should have rebuked him, because that wasn't okay. And I'm going to go back to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and suffer not sin upon him. Now, yes, sluggy. If the other guy was pretty much covered after another man's wife. Bear with me. Book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 11. Seeing then that all things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Because that wasn't a holy conversation. And we have to, again, be mindful of the things that we say. You know, we can't covet after another man's wife. You know, thinking about, imagining vain things that you want to do to another man's wife is wickedness. You know, if you have a wife, be with your wife. Don't covet another man's wife. That's his possession. Regardless of whatever that situation is. It's not an okay thing. It's wickedness. So pretty much, that's it. That's all I have for this particular lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say shalom.